Welcome back to the Off the Cuff podcast. This episode, we're doing The Lazarus Effect, starring Olivia Wilde, among others. For reference, this has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critic score and a 23% on the audience score, which is awesome and fun and low. So let's take a look and see what people have to say. As usual, we'll start with some of the critics and then we'll move on over to the audience. This one from Brian Eggert from Deep Focus Review, 1 out of 4. With a runtime of 83 minutes, the movie is all build-up while the payoff resorts to silly horror conventions, abandoning whatever scientific goodwill it had established. Interesting. So, I agree. It does kind of it does kind of fall back on horror tropes. If you haven't seen this movie, it basically is the idea of you unlock 100% of your brain sort of thing, but through Olivia Wilde's character dying, and they've been working on this thing to bring people back to life. It's like a serum. And they explore a little bit of, very surface level of like religion, and when she dies and comes back, she's like, I went to hell. I can't believe I went to hell. Like that sort of thing. Which then drives her to try and kill and infect everyone else. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say this thing built a ton of scientific goodwill. It just is kind of there. And there wasn't anything, I don't know. I don't think there was anything particularly quote unquote scientific about it. There was still enough there for me to personally suspend my disbelief with some of the issues that might come from the movie. But I mean, it's an interesting review overall. This one from Richard Krause, 2 out of 5. What it doesn't have is the sense of fun necessary to pull off the cheesy moments or the scares to sell it as a full-blown horror story. That's fair. I mean, there's a little bit of banter and there's a little bit of fun, I guess, but it's not really a lot. I think the movie takes itself very, very seriously. They have like just enough to show that they're kind of friendly with each other, except for one of the characters who is kind of like the asshole character. Pardon my French. So he's just kind of a jerk, and he's the one who is relaying the humor, but it comes off really poorly. So yeah, I mean, I would agree with that for the most part with this. The scares, I think, are very jump scary. They're not, you don't really get the like existential horror, or you don't get the that kind of like deeper horror. It's a very surface level, just jump scare sort of stuff. This one from Jordy Sirkin, no score, just a rotten review. A sci-fi horror film that had all the makings of success, but it fell short. Yeah, I mean, I think it did too. It had some stuff it did really well, but overall it just is kind of a forgettable horror movie, unfortunately. I think the performances overall do a decent job with what they're given. They're just not given a whole lot to work with in this movie, because the cast is solid overall. They just, I think the writing just kind of fell short on them. This one from Brent McKnight, The Last Thing I See, gave it a C letter grade. The Lazarus Effect isn't a terrible horror movie, but it's so by the book. You see so many ways that it has potential to be more interesting. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they do a good enough job delving into the different aspects they could have done as far as like the religious stuff. Like Olivia Wilde's character in this movie is Christian, if not Catholic. So it's a really interesting, you could have had a really interesting dynamic, but they don't do a good job exploring it. It's very surface level. It's a very surface level. This one from Josh Goller from Spectrum Culture, 2.5 out of 5. It's just a shame that The Lazarus Effect takes a viable premise and lively cast and simply flatlines them. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think the cast does a really good job with what they're given. It's just every character is so two-dimensional that it isn't it it makes it a little bit harder to watch, even if you are kind of buying into their performance. Um, and I don't think they sell the ending very well. They as in writing wise, I think they just they don't quite get to where they should be. All right, let's switch over to the audience because these are starting to look very similar across the board. There's also a lot of there's like advertisement reviews where they're talking about like Bitcoin and best crypto and all this stuff. Oh no. Uh, oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh, a couple of these first ones that are like 5-star are straight up ads. This one is 5-star. I'm retired and like many people my age, I wanted to find a way to make my savings last longer and maybe grow a little. I heard so much about Bitcoin. And it goes on. This has got like legitimate. I just popped open the full review. It's legitimately like full like 2 paragraphs on like why you should get into Bitcoin and stuff, and then even a WhatsApp phone number and email and all this stuff. Imagine going into a Rotten Tomatoes review of a movie that came out in 2015 that's reviewed very poorly. And that's where you're trying to get people scammed for Bitcoin. Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, that was fun. Let's get back to some real reviews. This one from Garrett, 2-star. It's not complete garbage, but it's a hokey premise that tries so hard to take itself seriously. Acting is questionable despite the good talent involved. Like I said before, I think the acting is actually okay. I think the writing is what kind of failed them. And sometimes actors can elevate the script, and sometimes the script is not good enough to be able to elevate. And I think that's kind of what happened here. Oh man. Here's another one. Oh no. Maybe I should just look at these reviews of that have stuff. It's a 3.5-star that's like, how can I recover my money from Seebeck's investment scheme? For the past 3 years, 5-star. For the past 3 years, I've been involved in Forex training, constantly learning new strategies and honing my skills. This is not good. Why is this your advertising strategy, people? Oh man. I thought Olivia Wilde slayed it. This from Retta, 4.5 stars. Yeah, she did. Again, she did a good job with what she was given. Oh my god, more crypto. Oh, I can't handle this. Get in touch with Optimistic Hacker Guys to help restore all of your lost crypto. There's legitimately, I want to go with, oh my god, there's even more. I'm going to count. This has never happened before. I have never gone on a Rotten Tomatoes page and seen nothing but ads. Like this is the first time. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like 11 of the top like 20 reviews for the movie are cryptocurrency things. That's amazing. All right, sorry for derailing so badly. Let's see if we can find a couple more good reviews or a couple of reviews here that are good or whatever. This one from Gene. Entertaining and suspenseful with a few creative touches. Granted, it's not groundbreaking nor terribly original, but it kept my attention and ramped up sufficient tension for a movie experience, at least for me. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Gene, back in 2021. I'm planning on doing a ranking of all the videos or all the movies I watched this year. And I'm really not sure where I want to put Lazarus Effect yet. It's probably going to be higher up just because I don't have the list in front of me. Like, I I get the feeling this movie is going to be like aggressively in the middle. Like, if it's not dead middle, I wouldn't be surprised. 1.5 star Bloomhouse, of course. They spent $2,000 on this film, as always. At least the acting was decent. Yeah, I mean the effects are okay. It's not the most effect heavy thing in the entire thing. This one's a 1.5 star. I'm just going to read the beginning part because it's really long, but it's a really interesting point at the beginning. The dog was the only cool part of the movie. When that dog crawled onto the bed and eerily stared down the sleeping person, I was hooked, fully expecting some kind of creepy zombie movie with Reanimator dog who ran the risk of killing everyone. Yeah, I think this movie suffered from that kind of problem too, where it it kind of misled you which way it was going to go because there was no indication like crazy powers and stuff are going to come involved as far as when the drug is used on Olivia Wilde. Not that you would necessarily tell from a dog, but the way it was the way in which the dog was creepy would not lead you to believe that it was like crazy powers and stuff like that because you're unlocking 100% of the human potential sort of thing. So yeah, I think it was a little bit of a misdirect, and I don't think it was done on purpose. Let's see if we can find one or two more here that aren't crypto related. Oh, here's an interesting one from Anonymous, 3.5 star. Going in, I knew very little. I had seen the trailer, but had low expectations. 4 years later, my opinion has changed slightly. When I saw it opening night, I was impressed, but after numerous viewings, it's predictable. And that's an interesting thing, too, because it's like, is it predictable because you've seen it so many times and there's just not much to the movie? Or do you think it's genuinely predictable? And I think the ending is okay. So, sorry, spoilers. She ends up killing everybody, and what she does is she starts infecting them with the Lazarus drug to basically make an army. It's kind of like the ending of Pet Sematary a little bit when the rest of the family becomes zombies. Just a little bit of a different way of going about it. But you didn't really have an idea that was going to be the plan, like Olivia Wilde's plan. You just thought she was kind of like an agent of chaos at that point. But she apparently is like, I want to infect other people and then infect other people. So it's like, but to what end? There's not really a good explanation of that. All right, let's see if we can find one more here. 0.5 star on Halloween of 2018. What even is this movie? It's very bland and cringe. Why does Hollywood make bad horror films nowadays? I almost fell asleep. Yeah, I give it its bland. It's not that I don't think it's cringy necessarily, but it is very bland, and it's unfortunate because the movie has a lot of interesting questions it could ask, but it just doesn't. It doesn't do a good job exploring any of the questions that even when they have the moral quandary moment, like after they infect the dog, where it's like, should we really be doing this? And it's like, okay, you've spent how many years of your lives making this serum to do this thing, and now you're just questioning everything. Like, how did this not come up sooner? in the whole, like, maybe we shouldn't do this. So it's unfortunate because they dabble, they put their toes in the water of interesting questions, and they just decide to ignore it, unfortunately. Well, these reviews are starting to look the same, so I think we'll end it there before we find any more crypto ones. Thank you all so much for watching or listening in the podcast. I really appreciate you all. If you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Leave a comment too. I always love to hear what people think. If you have suggestions for movies, put that in the comments too. I'm always looking out for good movies or quote unquote bad movies to watch for the series. But otherwise, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to support the channel as a free or paid member, you could head on over to our Patreon. Our diamonds in the rough over there. We got hold 2 members right now, so thank you for that, Maria and Zakabor. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, and I hope I see you in the next one.